So let's talk about the thought for the day. So the thought for the day is God speaks to me through desire. God speaks to me through desire. So let's talk about what that means. I've been saying a lot the quote, God speaks to me through, God does not speak in a voice of fear, but rather courage and a sound mind. Okay. And when we look one step further, and I talk so much about desire in my work because so many people have a misunderstanding of what the word desire really means. So for a lot of people, when I say, like, what do you desire? What do you want? A lot of times, the first thing is that people don't even know what they want. They can't even give themselves permission to want what they want without feeling some sort of guilt or shame or, yeah, but, or this, is it selfish? Is it, they create, they give it the wrong meaning. And what I want you to understand today on a deeper level is your desire, your very specific desires that you have. And again, I want to distinguish something because the mind can easily go into confusion. So a desire is not, I want to lie on my couch eating bonbons and watching TV all day. That is not desire. That's laziness. That's something else. Okay, so when people are like, well, if I desire to just watch TV all day, like that's not, we're not in that conversation. Is everyone clear? Like we're not talking about, I'm tired and I want to watch TV on the couch. I'm talking about the thing that drives you and excites you and drives you forward every day. The things that spark emotional intensity in your body, the things that you're naturally excited and fascinated by, the things that make you unique. Like some of you, you have an eye for beauty. And so you like to surround yourself with beautiful things. That's part of your blueprint. Some of you don't care about that. You desire nature and you desire earth and groundedness. That's part of your nature. Some of you desire, each of you has a very specific set of desires. And the Latin term desire comes from the word desire, of the Father. Meaning what? Don't take it in a biblical sense or a religious sense. It's consciousness, which you are born of, gave you a specific set of blueprints and desires for the manifestation of your purpose here on this planet at this time. Is that clear? So when we don't even give ourselves permission to want what we want, when we purchase things and then feel guilty, when we don't purchase things because we don't think we can, when we don't go somewhere because of that, and we don't take that action because of that, we're actually not fulfilling this idea of the blueprint, the desire, the of the Father. And we're not actually in alignment, we're not allowing ourselves to be led in alignment with our purpose, which creates what? I think a lot of people are unsatisfied or dissatisfied in life for this one exact reason. They just don't give themselves permission to want what they want. If you just boil it down to its simplest terms, they're living some version of a life inside of some box that someone created. That's all bullshit to begin with. It's all like a kind of illusion. And they don't give themselves permission to be themselves, to follow their true nature. What did Shakespeare say in Hamlet? To thy own self be true. To thy own self be true means what? Do not do anything that goes against your nature. This is the meaning of the self-betrayal we've talked so much about. Like, what are you still doing that goes against your nature? We talked a lot about that in the Q&A with one of the groups, being so intentional about the way that you live your life. For example, it's like you're an introverted person, let's say, and you don't want to hang out with a lot of people, but you feel like you should because that's what society tells you to do. Stop doing that. You're an extroverted person, you want to be around people, go do that. You don't like to answer your phone in the day, don't do it. You like answering it, do it. Follow your nature, not some prescriptive way of living created by someone that knows nothing about your blueprint. Does this make sense? So God speaks to me through desire. Why did I choose that today? I chose it because something I know for sure, like I would stake my life on it. Like that's how for sure I know about it. And it's something that I learned through my mentors, that I've practiced consistently, that I've seen the evidence of it. Every time I'm drawn to something, whether it's material, right? Because we live in a material world, so everything is material. But like maybe I'm drawn to a watch, or I'm drawn to a particular car, I'm drawn to a home, or I'm drawn to going somewhere, or I'm drawn to a bracelet or a ring, or I'm drawn to a plant, or I'm drawn to a specific flower. I'm drawn to it because my desire is drawing me to it. And so I listen. I'm like, interesting, why can't I stop thinking about that thing? So I buy it, or I purchase it, or I go there. Why? Because it's always leading me. It's like connecting dots that I can't see looking forward. Steve Jobs quote, you can only connect them looking back. Those dots are connecting me to my next level. Always, every time, never without a fail. And people are always like, well, what does that have to do with that? The universe is one big connection of dots. You don't know what it has to do with that right now. Not your problem. It's not your job. Your job is to follow the dots. Your job is to follow. It's like God is leaving you little breadcrumbs in a forest, and you're just supposed to follow the breadcrumbs. Does that make sense? So when I'm drawn to something like a watch, or I'm drawn to something like a book all of a sudden, or I'm really like drawn to a location, or I'm drawn to a specific person to teach me, or I allow myself to follow that guidance because I actually know that's how God, Source, Spirit, Mother Nature is communicating with and through me. Raise your hand if that makes sense. It's not random. It's not superficial, which is the most ridiculous word. Like it's not any of that. It just is. It just is the guidance. So then the next piece to this is this idea of giving yourself permission to want what you want 100% fully, and being clear on what you want. So for some of you, maybe you've given yourself permission, but you're still not clear on what you want. Raise your hand if some of you are still fully not 100% clear. Like I'm talking 100%. So 100 is not half pregnant. So you're either 100% or not. Okay, good. So this is an opportunity to get super clear on what you want next. Now, what you want next. What does that mean? Some of you, I think it can be overwhelming to think about what I want in 25 years from now. Okay. I'm talking about in the next 90 days. What's the game you're playing for the next 90 days? What do you want to manifest? What do you want in the next 90 days? Every one of you should have an idea of that. Nobody should be confused about 90 days. We get confused when we do 3 to 5 years out, especially depending on your human design and depending on all the different things that work, like that create who you are. Some people can't think that far ahead. Like I personally, in my design, I like to only plan 90 days out. I don't like beyond that. Beyond that, I've already changed my mind. I've already manifested beyond that. So it doesn't work for me to do that. If you're a manifesting generator or sacral authority, you actually do not need to plan more than 90 days out. So that should just give you a little bit of like okay, I don't need to do that. I just need to know what I'm doing for the next 90 days. For the next 90 days, I'm doing this. Great, this is what I want for the next 90 days. I'm very clear. So I'm clear and I'm giving myself permission 100% fully without any shame, guilt, yada, yada, yada. I'm just committing to it. I'm declaring to the universe, this is what I'm doing. And then it's my job to follow the clues. Then it's my job to follow the guidance. Then it's my job to listen to the nudges. Then it's my job to listen to the way that God speaks to me through desire. So then it's my job to say, oh, I really want to do that thing. I really want to go into that store. I really want to go sit there for coffee. I really want to go buy that book. I really want to go purchase that top that I've been thinking about for a week. I really want to go do, without overcomplicating what it has to do with your bigger vision. Because here's the deal. If you don't give yourself permission to want the little things, how are you going to give yourself permission to want the big things? Does this make sense? Some people, I always laugh when people are like, I want to be a bajillionaire. Woohoo! It's like, you can't even buy yourself the top for $49.99. Are you kidding me? In what galaxy are you living? I want to be a millionaire. And it's like, you're still humming and hawing about $397. In what planet are you living in? For realsies, though. I want to change the world and save the whales. Fantastic. But you can't even give yourself permission to buy the book. You need to do it when it's on sale. It doesn't work that way. You see what I'm saying here? It's like, can you build the permission like one step at a time? Like, it's like, can I even give myself permission in the small things? That's where I had to start. I had to start with like just giving myself permission in the small things, taking a break in the afternoon, having a self-care day. This is how it started with like going for a walk in the middle of the day, which seemed outrageous back then. Like, it was outrageous that during the 9 to 5 hours, I could possibly go for a walk and sit down for coffee. Because I was so programmed and conditioned in this very hard work paradigm that for me, at first, it just started permission with giving myself space. So now it's like I have so much space in my day. Where the question you want to ponder today is, where can I give myself permission to want even some of the small things I'm not giving myself permission to want? How am I going to manifest at a higher level when I'm literally still waiting for someone to give me permission to take a break, to buy the top, to go on the trip, to stay in a nice luxury hotel, if that's what you like? Like for me, it's like when I travel, it's got to be that. I'm not staying in a not nice hotel. There's certain things at this level that I really desire. And here's the thing, when you give yourself space, you realize that some of the things you think that have to get done don't actually have to get done, or someone else picks up the slack because you're just not doing it anymore. So this is where some of you need to look at, am I even giving myself permission in the small things? Am I still rummaging about, like, am I still making a big deal about small purchases? Am I still making a big deal about certain decisions? Am I still, what's the story or the meaning I'm giving my desire? So that's a really good thing to journal. Am I giving my desire any negative meaning? Does this make sense? Like, it's selfish, it's not this, I don't need it. Like, is there any meaning I'm giving to any of my desires that are negative in any way? My family never had this. Do I really need it? Is that making sense? Like, it's selfish. That's always a big one. So then I'm gonna say something that's really, like, this next piece is huge. So when you think about self-worth and core wound stuff, which is basically at the baseline of all of our stuff, is our core wound, and then how that creates our self-esteem. Okay. When I see people belaboring a decision, not following desire, making themselves wrong for all of it, going into constant confusion, it's because they're dealing with that lower self-worth part of themselves that's still there. Does that make sense when I say that? There's still a, I don't deserve it, I'm not worthy of it, I'm not good enough for it. That's, all of us have unworthy or unlovable on some level. And even though some of you are maybe more beyond than others, do not be fooled. That core wound is never going anywhere. It's always there. And the minute something flares it up, it flares it up. So one of the things that I want you to really think about is, how does a person with high self-worth make decisions? So write that down. How does a person with high self-worth make decisions?